It's 18th of June. Today I'll start with a short story that gave me an idea on how to diversify my podcast. And then, in fact, I will share this idea with you. A few days ago, in one of the military units, we passed by a woman who was cleaning weapons. In a quiet, modest voice, she stopped me and said that she knew us, me and my comrade with whom we hosted a radio show before the war. She called us by names and admitted that she was very happy about this chance meeting. For her, it was a kind of return to pre-war times when the show sounded on the air. And we were guests from those times. To be honest, I'm also pleased to meet people who listened to my show or read my texts. This gives confidence that all my work was not in vain, that I was doing something useful and important for people. But soon it will end. The show has not been on the air for several months. I have not written new texts since the beginning of the war. I tried to write something conscious and interesting, but nothing came of it. Either I slipped into banality or went into some kind of heroic pathos. In general, I fell out of the Ukrainian information space, and such meetings as with a woman who cleaned a rifle will occur less and less. People will forget me, and that's okay. My informational work now is the Fighting for Ukraine podcast. In addition to military duties, I only do this podcast, and I also want to understand that all this is not in vain, that the listeners is interested in what I do. And in order to understand that everything is not in vain, my producer Stevie and I decided to establish feedback with the audience. How it works? You can voicemail us with questions at fightingtherussianbeast@gmail.com. We'll take your questions and I'll answer it in one of the podcast episodes. I hope a kind of dialogue will come out. Your recorded questions followed by my recorded answer. I hope everything works out for us. By the way, the first questions is already there. It is not recorded as a voice message, but arrived in an email as a text. It's author Vincent asked me if I feel myself European. This is both a simple and a complex question. The answer to a simple question is yes, of course. The answer to the complex one will require much more words. For me, being a European means sharing the values on which modern Europe stands, to believe in democracy, to respect our people's choice, to understand that human freedom and dignity are unconditional values, that origin, gender, religion, skin color, and sexual orientation have nothing to do with human qualities, and all the people should be treated equally. In addition, being European means being ready to defend freedom and the right to self-determination, to have the courage to call the enemies of the freedom by name. And in this sense, Ukrainians are not just Europeans, they are real avant-garde of European culture who have taken a terrible blow from the obscurantist authoritarian Russia, which is literally crippled by the mere word freedom.